Hi guys, you're welcome back again to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how I made this dress you are seeing on the screen. So you'll be learning how to cut and sew the dress. I recreated this dress for a client. I'll be attaching her body measurement on the screen. Make sure you watch till the end and don't skip any part of this video so that you won't miss any important details. At the end of this tutorial, if you find my video helpful, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, I'm gonna head to mark out the basic line from the shoulder to the chest line, shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to half length. I added ½ inch for same allowance. I've also marked half of her shoulder width. On the chest line, I will place quarter of her round bust measurements. On the half length line, I also mark quarter of her round waist. I'll add 1 inch for that intake. I'll roll it straight down. I will mark the basic neckline of 3 inches and neck depth of 3 inches. I will curve the neckline. After that, I'll come down by 1 inch for front shoulder slant. I will slant it to the neck width. To curve the armhole, I will divide what I have here by 2. I will come in by ½ inch. After that, I will curve the armhole the way you see me doing. On the bust point line, I will be placing half of her nipple to nipple point measurement, which is 3½ inches. After that, I will roll it straight down. I will divide what I have on the shoulder by 2. I will connect it to the bust point. To tighten her under bust, I will be marking 0.75 on this center front side and 1 inch on this side. From the bust point line, I'll come down by ½ inch and I'll curve it the way you see me doing. The ½ inch I came down from the bust point is to eliminate the pointiness around the bust area. After curving it, I will roll the dart lace down. To determine her cup size, I will be coming up by 6.5 inches from the under bust and I will roll the line out. This line now is her over bust line. I'll be tightening the over bust line by ½ inch on the both dart line. After that, I will come up by ½ inch from the bust point line and I will curve the cup. For the sweetheart neckline, I'll be coming down by 1 inch from the over bust line and I will curve it the way you see me doing. You can make it deeper if you want. This 1 inch I used to tighten the over bust. I'll be sharing it into 2. If I divide the 1 inch by 2, I have ½ inch. So ½ inch will go to the armhole area. After placing the ½ inch on the armhole, I will reconnect it the way you see me doing. So the remaining ½ inch, I will use it to tighten the yoke. So the ½ inch, I share it into 2, which is 0.25 on the both sides. After that, I will slant it. So the ½ inch is to remove the excess that will prevent the yoke from relaxing well on the body. This will help the yoke to lay flat on the body. The actual neckline I'm using for this dress is 4 inches by width and 4½ inches by depth. After that, I will reconnect the neckline. So I'm done with the drafting part. I'll go ahead and cut my pattern out. After cutting out my patterns, I'll be closing the dart on the yoke. So what you do is just to slash it open the way you see me doing. And you match it like so. After merging it together, use your masking tape to secure it. Use a solo tape to tape it down. This is all I have for the front part. The next thing now is to cut the back part. I've already placed my measurement on the back part, the same thing I did on the front. I also mark my dart. So I will take my front yoke so that I can mark my back neckline as the 4 inches I took for the neckline, and the neck depth I mark 1.5. I'll mark ½ inch for back shoulder slant. After that, I'll connect the armhole. I'll mark half inch for that intake. I'll came down by ½ inch from the bust point, and I slanted my dart. I will be removing ½ inch for the back zipper bulge, and I will slant it back to the neck depth. After that, I'll go ahead and cut it out. For this dress, the back part doesn't have a yoke, but if you wish to add the yoke, you can go ahead and add your yoke. You can measure 2 inches from the chest line for your yoke, and you slant it the way you wish. So I won't be cutting it out because the back part doesn't have a yoke. I've transferred my pattern to the fabric. I added 2 inches for side seam sewing allowance and ½ inch round. I also go ahead to use my black net to cut out my yoke. This is the skirt pattern. You cut your skirt pattern. Make sure you cut on the pattern paper, and when you are cutting it, you put it on fold. I've added my necessary sewing allowance on the pattern. Okay, the next thing I'll be showing you is how I cut the wrap. I'll remove the fabric now, and I'll open up my pattern. To cut the wrap, the first thing that you do is to indicate the left side and the right side. So I will write it as an indication. The wrap will be going to the left side. From the left side, I'll be coming in by 7 inches. My client waist measurement is 34. If your waist is from 37 to 40, you can use 9 inches for her. I mark 7 inches. After marking the 7 inches, I will slant it the way you see me doing. Please bear with me, I couldn't find my marker, so I'm using fabric check to mark. I have 10 inches for the down part. So the next thing I will do now is to cut it out. I'll be adding ½ inch sewing allowance on this side, so I will write it as an indication. After that, I will transfer it to my fabric. As you can see, I did not fold my fabric. I spread it out on the right side. I'll be adding ½ inch on the side and on the upper part. I've already cut it out. Can you see what I have? I want to bring in the front part now, so that I can place the wrap for you to see what I have. So I'll be taking out 1.5 inches on the waistline of the wrap. The 1.5 inches, I'll be replacing it with a belt. The belt is what I'll be using to tie the wrap. So I'll go ahead and cut it out now. After cutting it out, I'll measure it for you to see. I'm supposed to remove 1 inch, but because I've added ½ inch on the fabric when I was transferring my pattern to the fabric, that's why I removed 1.5 inches. The ½ inch left is what I'm going to be using to join the belt on the wrap. I've gone ahead to cut my lining for the front and back. For the wrap, I have this black organza that I'll be attaching on the wrap. I bought only ½ yard. I've gone ahead to cut out the one that I'll be using for the pleating. I cut out 4 inches. So I'll be folding this edge. After folding it in, I should be left with 3 inches. The band is supposed to be 2.5 inches after everything. To know the amount of organza that will be enough for the pleating, you have to measure the total of what you have here and you multiply it by 3 inches, and when you are measuring, you remember the 1.5 inches you added for folding allowance. You stop the measurement before the 1.5 inches. For me, I did not measure it. I just cut out a piece of organza. I think that will be enough for me. If I have excess, I'll cut it out. So I'll join it together this way. After joining it, I'll go ahead and fold the hem of the organza. After folding it, I have 3 inches left. I use 1 inch to fold the hem with just a tiny fold. So to start pleating, I'll first of all measure 2 inches. After the first 2 inches, I'll measure 1.5 inches. I'll fold it like so. If you can't guess the 1.5 inches, you just measure it before folding. I'll just fold this one now. I'll measure another 1.5. You measure another 1.5 also. After measuring the 1.5, you now grab this first one and match it with the second 1.5 that you measured. That's how you'll be doing it. If you're taking 1.5 for your folding, you have the space of 1/2 inch here. It's 1/2 inch that I have. So I'll measure 1.5 again, measure another 1.5. I'll grab the first one and match it with the second one. That's how I'll continue to do it until I exhaust all the organza that I have here. The reason I'm measuring it this way is to make sure the pleats are uniform. I want all the pleats to be the same size, so you distribute it evenly. After pleating everything I have here, I'll go to my sewing machine and hold the pleats down. Just secure it down with 1/2 inch so that the pleats can stay together. This is what I have after sewing it down. Can you see that? After pleating it, I went ahead to sew the pleat down. So this is the result. Make sure you use a steam iron or you sprinkle water on your organza before you iron so that you don't burn it. The next thing is to attach it on the wrap. So this is my wrap. I'll place it like so. You leave 1/2 inch below the waistline. This is because of the belt that you'll be joining on the wrap. And you fold the rough edge like so. You fold it in before stitching it down on the wrap. When you are stitching it down, please remember the 1.5 inches you added here for hemming allowance. That's where you stop your stitches. So I'll go and stitch it down now. After that, I'll place my lining like so and sew with 1/2 inch. First of all, turn the hem. After turning the hem, you stitch the both sides. When you are sewing it, make sure you use your hemming gum to stitch the side you put your organza. So I've gone ahead to join my cups. I believe most of us here can join a bustier cup. This is the outcome of the pattern I drafted. I've also sewn my darts on the back part. I repeat the same thing on the lining. For the yoke, I'll be using one to turn the neckline. So I'll go and sew the neckline. After sewing the neckline, I'll turn it to the right side and attach it on the bustier. This is what I have after attaching the yoke. I have turned the hem with the lining. The next thing is to turn the overbust area with lining. After that, you sew the two sides. Arrange it properly and you sew. This is what I have after sewing the wrap. Can you see that I use hemming gun to turn that side? So you turn it to the right side now. After turning it to the right side, this is what you have. You give it a good press, iron it down. This is the front part. I've also turned it with lining, so I'll turn it to the right side now. So I'll make sure I give it a good press, iron it properly. So this is what I have. Can you see the outcome? I have this piece of fabric that I'll be attaching on the wrap. I have the length of 30 inches here. To determine the length that will be enough for you, you can divide your round waist by 2 and add extra 13 inches to it. For the width, I cut out 4 inches. So I'll put it on fold and I'll sew the both edge. The width of the band is 1.5 inches. That's what we removed. That's why I cut 4. So therefore you put it on fold and you use 1/2 inch to sew the belt to the wrap. So when I was sewing the both edges of the belt, I left 1/2 inch. Can you see the 1/2 inch? I also did the same thing on this side. So I fold in 1/2 inch. I press the 1/2 inch down, so I'm left with 1.5 inches now. I'll use this part that I did not fold in to attach it on the wrap. I'll be sewing it down with the remaining 1/2 inch that I did not fold in. So I'll go ahead and pin it down. After pinning it down, I'll go and sew with 1/2 inch. After sewing it, I will turn it like so and I will push the seam inside. After arranging it, I'll top stitch on it. This is how we sew our neck collar, so it's not hard. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'll go and sew it down now, and I'll come back and show you what you have. This is what I have after sewing it down. I've prepared the other belt that I'll be attaching on the other side. You can attach it on the side like so, but the one on the thumbnail was attached on this side. You attach it where you put the first one, so you cut the length of 35 inches and you attach it on this side. It will be passing through the back, so that's why you put it on this side. I will now use my pin to pin it down so that I can sew it down. You sew it down with 1/2 inch. After sewing it down, I will now place the back part on it so that I can shape the both side. You can place the back part on it before stitching it down. You can just sew everything at once. If you're attaching the belt on the side, you just insert it like so and place the back part on it and sew. I won't be doing that. I'll be attaching it on this side. So I'll go and join the shoulder and shape the both side. This is what I have after I was done shaping it. Can you see that? The other belt went through the back. That's how you will do it. The dress really came out looking so beautiful and neat. If you don't know how to cut the sleeve part, please make sure you watch my next video. I'll be uploading how to cut it on my short video.